Hello, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. I hope you're well. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Jen with Timeline Tarot, and this is your Mercury in retrograde reading. Mercury in retrograde is the perfect time for us to pause and reflect and review where we are in life. So today, using tarot and my little cue cards here for the new spread that I created just for this reading, we'll do exactly that. We'll look to see where you currently are and maybe what changes need to be made during the retrograde. So when the planet goes direct on August 3rd, or comes out of post shadow and is finally in direct motion, you will be exactly where you need to be and aligned to your path at that time. Keep in mind, it is a collective general reading. So as the messages come through today, take what fits, leave what doesn't, because if it's not your message, it simply means it is meant for someone else to hear. And please check your other placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus. And if you're not sure what they are, in the description box below of this video right here, is a link where you can obtain your free birth chart. With all of that said, now let's begin. Tapping into the Aquarius collective now, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. We need one oracle card here, please, for their Mercury in retrograde message for the Aquarius collective. One more shuffle. Thank you. The message, ascending the mountain, keep going forward, no matter how difficult it is or how difficult it will become. Keep moving forward. Rejuvenating rain, clear the past, heal the present. Oh, nice energy. Let's see where we go with this. For Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. For Mercury in retrograde, we are clarifying the anchor. I almost said anger. So maybe some of you are angry with someone else or possibly even angry with yourself. There might be something here we need to clear and heal so we can ascend the mountain and move forward. So just take that as a little footnote there. It may resonate with some of you, may not. But we are clarifying the anchor. Where do you need to pause? The loop, what pattern are you repeating? The insight, what will occur during the retrograde to make you pause and look at something that you might need to heal? The filter, what boundary may need to be created? The pivot, how can we prepare for when Mercury goes direct? And the return, who or what may return, either during the retrograde or immediately after post shadow. Tell me more about this here, please, for Aquarius. One more shuffle. Thank you. The anchor, Knight of Cups. The loop, Knight of Wands. The insight, Eight of Cups. The filter, Eight of Swords. The pivot, Three of Wands, nice pivot. The return, Seven of Cups. Bottom of the deck, Four of Wands. Let's clarify this just a little bit. We are using the After Tarot deck to clarify these messages. If you're not familiar with this deck, the images are slightly different. It does alter or change the meaning of the cards, and we'll go through them as necessary in your reading today. This is for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. We're clarifying the anchor, Knight of Cups. The loop, Knight of Wands. The insight, Eight of Cups. The filter, Eight of Swords. The pivot, Three of Wands. The return, Seven of Cups. For the Aquarius collective, which I am a proud card-carrying member of as an Aquarius rising. One more shuffle here. Thank you. The anchor, Knight of Cups, clarified by the Wheel of Fortune. The loop, Knight of Wands, clarified by the Magician. The insight, Eight of Cups, clarified by Three of Pentacles. The filter, Eight of Swords, clarified by the Empress. The pivot, Three of Wands, clarified by the Queen of Swords. And the return, Seven of Cups, clarified by Nine of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck, the Moon. This is obviously a love reading, but you can apply love to however you see fit. The love for a job, the love for a creative endeavor, the love for a person, love for a family member. I have a group of you here, which, I'm a member of the collective, like I said. So these messages are intended to help us heal and grow and expand. So please do not be offended at anything that comes out of my Gemini mouth today during this reading. But I have a group of you where that Knight of Cups to the Wheel of Fortune, you are continually, I don't know how to say this. I don't want to offend you. Cycle after cycle, opportunity after opportunity, you very much pursue situations, environments, or connections that are emotionally pleasing to you. Knight of Cups, you love to be in love. You love to have a job that you love. You love connecting with friends that you love. This is a time after time after time again, I'm going to choose what is emotionally pleasing to me, which isn't necessarily a bad thing at all. But here's the loop, Knight of Wands to the Magician. As much as we manifest the job we love, the friendships we love, the community involvement we love, the love partner we love, we actually show up as a Knight of Wands. We are not consistent. We're a little flaky. Maybe we shy away from commitment. maybe we're not as emotionally available as we'd like to believe that we are. Don't be offended. Let's see where we go with this message. So the insight. There's some type of Eight of Cups experience here. Now, some of you have already experienced it, and others of you will experience it during the Mercury retrograde. There's a connection here in your life where either you walked away from them or they walked away from you, or something transpired where there are some hurt feelings. There's some insight here. Now, I don't know if you're interacting with this person, or maybe you're talking about this experience with someone else, or maybe just watching this tarot reading or another, but there's some insight here that if you catch it, and I believe you will, because now you're seeing this reading, it's like, oh, there's actually a part of myself here that I need to work on. Three of Pentacles and heal. Because as much as I love the idea of blank or being in blank, I don't actually show up that way once I attain it. I don't take it as seriously. Even though I manifest and I hope and I pray, I have a difficult time with commitment. You know, I want the ideal job, but then when I get the ideal job, I don't really like having to come to work every day, 9 to 5. You know, it's something like that. So we're inconsistent with it. We want commitment. We want a situation, environment, or connection that we love. But then when we have it, we're inconsistent with it. You know, 4 days out of 5 days a week, we show up late to work. You know, there's something like that. I say that I want love, but then I don't make myself emotionally vulnerable. So the filter here is to see this for what it is, that the reason why maybe we have had some difficulty with blank is because we contributed to it by not being as consistent with it as we wanted to be. I think the intention is the Knight of Cups, but I think we approach it as the Knight of Wands. And this could even be like you're a business owner. You want to put out a product or service that the public will love. And maybe you tell the public, look, I love providing you with this so much. It would be like me with my channel, right? So every morning at 7 a.m., you could count on me releasing a video because I love doing this and I love you and I want you to get these messages. But then I'm inconsistent. Maybe only twice a week you actually get a video at 7 a.m. Maybe some days I don't post anything at all. So it'd be like, again, I love this and I love the opportunity to do this, but I'm not consistent at all when it comes to fulfilling that promise, if you will. And there's something here in that filter, being able to see that what it is that I desire, when I actually have it in my hand or it's presented to me, I don't really nurture it the way I should or show up the way I should. And that's really what keeps me, because in the Eight of Swords, this person is free, but they're looking in the mirror and they're seeing themselves all tangled up. So if you've had a situation, environment, or connection like that recently, and you're wondering why it just hasn't panned out or didn't pan out the way you thought it would, I'm not putting 100% of the blame on you, but I am saying there is something here in regards to we just didn't nurture it as best as we could have. And there's a possibility here to revisit that or to have something new come in that's just like it. And so we have the opportunity to show up differently, whether we're re-engaging with that situation, environment, connection, or a new one. So the pivot here is that when we move forward, to be a lot more authentic. And that means if I'm desiring Knight of Cup connection, then I can't show up as a Knight of Wands. I have to show up for what I'm wanting to receive. If I'm having a job interview, you know, as an attorney, I should go dressed in my best form, right? If there's a law firm who's extending that invitation to me, I shouldn't go in like a slob who hasn't showered in 5 days. Now, you might say, well, the people shouldn't judge you based on appearances. No, but I would be a representation of their firm to their clients. And so I need to put my best foot forward. So if I want to be hired as an attorney during that interview, I need to show up like an attorney. And consistently, to keep the job at that firm, every day that I go to work, I need to show up as an attorney. I need to look the part and talk the part and believe in my talents and abilities. So there's something like that here at play. And I feel like if we don't do this, we go right back to the Nine of Pentacles and the Seven of Cups, which is I want structure and stability or maybe financial success, but it ends up just existing in a dream state because I don't really show up in my best form when I do have it. Let's try to get a little deeper into this message because I think this is a moment for us to clear the past in terms of how we showed up in professional, platonic, or romantic connections, to heal this wound within us. Maybe, again, it could be like wanting someone who is emotionally available, but not being emotionally available ourselves would just be an example. So healing it in the present and ascending that mountain of healing. So again, whether we are in this connection or revisiting the connection or getting into the next connection, we will be as emotionally vulnerable as we want the other person to be with us. Knight of Cups. And again, it doesn't have to be love related. I just give you the messages that are here, and you're welcome to extrapolate them and apply them to your life how you see fit. Knight of Cups. Clarify the Knight of Cups. This is the anchor. This is Wheel of Fortune, Knight of Cups. This is what I'm desiring. One more shuffle. Thank you. Knight of Cups, clarified by the Two of Swords, the Empress, and the Two of Cups. Bottom of the deck, Eight of Pentacles. So again, it's desiring connection, professional, platonic, or romantic, that is nurturing to me. I want a boss who's going to invest in me. I want a business partner who works hand in hand with me. Look at that Two of Cups, hand in hand. I want a love partner that I can grow with and build with and is expansive and nurtures me and cares for me, but I don't show up that way. So again, these messages are not meant to insult. They're meant to be eye-opening. Mercury retrograde is a time to review our past behavior or review a cycle or a loop we're in so we can finally break it. And when it goes direct, we are going direct as well. Wheel of Fortune. Tell me about the Wheel of Fortune. And Two of Swords is the moon in Libra. And Libra is the house of marriage, contracts, relationships, partnerships, whether they are professional, platonic, or romantic. And I think for a lot of us, we can't see Two of Swords. We're blinded that when it comes to these connections that we're desiring, we're not really showing up the way we expect the other person in them to show up. One more shuffle here. Thank you. And it's a cycle we do over and over again with a variety of different types of people in our life. The Emperor. Look at that. Emperor to the Empress. Eight of Cups. And the Ten of Swords. And it doesn't work out. Bottom of the deck, Seven of Pentacles. It doesn't work out because we don't show up in best form. So we are desiring a partnership, Two of Swords. That's Empress to the Two of Cups. We are in partnership. We are in union. We have one another's back. They're nurturing me. They're nurturing the connection. But when I have to show up in a way that's emotionally vulnerable, I do not. Emperor to the Eight of Cups to the Ten of Swords. I can't show any emotional vulnerability. That's weak. I don't want to appear to be soppy. And so the relationship, maybe the other person feels abandoned. They walk away. We don't really know why they walk away. We're left sitting here looking at the Eight of Cups. This person's in the red coat. They're leaving. They're ascending the mountain, right? They're leaving us behind, and now the relationship is over, and we're like, I don't understand. That person was everything that I wanted, yes. But did we show up as everything that they wanted? Did we show up in the same form or fashion or way as we expected them to? This is a fascinating reading. Both my person and I are both Aquarius risings. I hope you're watching, baby. There's a little bit of us in this on both parts. I'm going to be honest and say on both parts. But I'm going to read this as it's your reading, not mine. But I just want you to know that these messages, I'm not like, oh, shame on you, I want you to know that there are parts of them that I can resonate with as well. So let's see how we can fix this. The loop, Knight of Wands. So the loop is, again, wanting Emperor, Empress, Knight of Cups, but showing up as the Knight of Wands, which to the other person comes across like we're not serious, that we're in it for a good time, not a long time. And look, I don't know your story. Maybe you're previously divorced. And as much as you'd love to have a committed partnership, at the core of you, you're afraid of commitment because the last time you had it, it crashed and burned, whether it was your fault or someone else's. So I'm not blaming you for being the Knight of Wands. I'm just trying to open up your eyes to this reading to show you that that's how you've come across. If you're going from job to job to job to job, and they're all crashing and burning, at some point in time, please don't take offense to this. When we keep having the same experience, lover after lover after lover, friend after friend after friend, romantic partner, whatever, job after job, and they all end the same way, or they all have the same issues, at some point in time, we have to be honest. What is that Taylor Swift song? Hi, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. We have to look at and say, all of these various connections have one common denominator, me. So this is taking a real honest review, a look at wanting to be anchored to the idea of something, but then when we attain it, we don't show up in the best form to be able to maintain it. It's like wanting a really nice car and being able to buy it, and then you treat it like crap. It never gets tune-ups. It doesn't get oil changes. You don't rotate tires. You never wash it. You never clean out the interior. So you wanted it, you got it, but now you don't act like a responsible car owner to maintain it. One more shuffle. Thank you. Knight of Wands, clarified by the Page of Cups, Ten of Swords. Both decks show the Ten of Swords. And the King of Wands, bottom of that Queen of Swords. Well, if you've seen my readings before, welcome back. If you haven't, howdy, howdy. But Queens exist in the present for me, especially in an energetic read like this, because they're processing the present and they process the past. And Kings take action. And so I feel for most of us, okay, when we are moving towards whatever this is that we're desiring, we show up as a King of Wands. We show up as we are large and in charge and we want this and we're ready to take action. But it's almost like the moment, as quick as it comes into our hands, it leaves because we revert back to the Knight of Wands. Some type of inconsistency here. And it ends up, it proves to be disastrous for the connection, whether it is professional, platonic, or romantic. The Magician. Tell me why the Magician is here. I feel, and then we go right back to manifesting, either trying to get the person back or a replacement. So we either manifest the job back, the lover back, the friend back, or we manifest a replacement for them. But what we're not doing is healing the wound within us. That's the loop that keeps us trapped. That's the story that keeps repeating here. One more shuffle. Thank you. The Magician is clarified by Judgment, Hermit, and the Queen of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck, the Three of Wands. I think that's exactly what we do. I think then we want to manifest the person back or something like that, or a replacement, again, professional, platonic, or romantic. And we should know better at this point because it's happened so many times, and yet we don't. As much as we say that we've healed, we really haven't. The moment we get the job, the contract, the person, the friendship, we don't do our share to hold up the bargain, to hold up the contract, to hold up the commitment. So the insight here, Eight of Cups, clarify the Eight of Cups. There's either a revisiting of a loss, or maybe you're re-engaging with this person, or there's a conversation that takes place. And again, could be this video that makes you go, yeah, part of why that collapsed is my fault. And I think that's all it's looking for, is I think we need to take ownership of a repetitive pattern that we have here. One more shuffle. Thank you. Eight of Cups, clarified by the Knight of Pentacles, the Hierophant, and the Five of Cups. Bottom of the deck, there's that Magician again. So the insight here is what we want is this long-term stability. Again, career and finance, love and romance. But we're always left in the Five of Cups. It just doesn't pan out or work out with the client, the job, the friend, the family member, the lover. So something here is transpiring during Mercury retrograde that is supposed to give us the insight into our participation in that. What is that insight, that Three of Pentacles? Because it gives us the opportunity to work on this, or to see how maybe we were not the collaborative partner we thought we were. One more shuffle here. Thank you. Three of Pentacles, clarified by Eight of Pentacles, Knight of Cups, and the Seven of Wands. Bottom of the deck, the Hangman. I think for most of you, this is a conversation with the person or some type of interaction here that you have with the individual that you experience this Five of Cups, Eight of Cups moment with. I want to get a little bit more on this, but I feel like there's a conversation here that takes place. There seems to be a little blaming, if you will. I think this person might say something to you that maybe gives you some insight to how they see you. I think this person sees you as being selfish. Don't be offended by that. And I'm going to tell you why. This is the Knight of Cups. I'm extending an offer to you. This is how they see you. I'm not really extending an offer to you. I'm extending an offer to you based on what I want to get out of it. I'm not reciprocating here. The Knight of Cups is drinking the cup. So I think this person, you're going to have this conversation or interaction with someone here that you had that Five of Cups, Eight of Cups experience with. And something they say or do should be a little bit of a trigger for you in the sense of, yeah, when that particular situation or experience occurred with this person, I was selfish. I didn't uphold my bargain here, or I crossed the line here. I wasn't as collaborative as I thought I was. I didn't show up in my best form. So something here is said or done. And again, it could just be this reading that kind of brings to your eyes that you wanted this person, place, thing. I mean, it's a person, let's stick with person here. You wanted this person to show up in one way, but you failed to show up that way as well. This could actually be very freeing for you to be able to see through the lens of how this person sees you. I feel like this person was very disappointed in us, whoever they are, friend, family member, lover, someone you haven't talked to in 10 years. I just think there's an interaction here between you and them. Knights are messengers. It's almost like this has been a long time coming for this person to finally say something to you. And again, it may just be this video for some of you, but I think it gives you insight into how maybe you behaved selfishly, or you didn't show up in best form, or you contributed to the 5 of Cups or the 8 of Cups. Tell me about the 8 of Swords. One more shuffle. Thank you. 8 of Swords is clarified by 5 of Swords, Queen of Cups, and the 6 of Swords. Bottom of the deck, Knight of Swords. There's something here that this person says or does that's really going to hit home for you. It's almost like you end up thinking about it, meditating on it. I think it gives you a lot of clarity that when you move forward from, when Mercury goes direct, as you move forward, I think you will be more prone to show up exactly how you expect the other entity to show up. I feel like this was a learning lesson for you. And maybe this person, whoever they are, professional, platonic, or romantic, means enough to you that having this conversation or this insight will make you show up better next time around, whether you have an opportunity with them or someone else. Tell me about the Empress. One more shuffle. Thank you. Empress is clarified by 2 of Pentacles, the Fool, and the 7 of Cups. Bottom of the deck, Ace of Cups. That's exactly what ends up happening. So the 7 of Cups are in the After Tower deck. We're leaving 6 Cups on the shelf, the old version of us, and we're stepping forward towards the Ace of Cups. So what we want now, we're showing up in that form. Empress to the 2 of Pentacles, turning our back to the past. And now as we move forward and engage, again, either with this person or with other people, we'll be showing up the same way that we expect them to show up. That's the pivot. That's how we move forward. 3 of Wands is the Sun in Aries. And the Queen of Swords is being honest with ourselves. Again, queens exist in the present, they process the past. So there's something here about looking at this past connection and owning our share of the 10 of Swords. Tell me about that 3 of Wands. The pivot here is moving forward in a more authentic way. Whatever we want blank to be, we need to be a vibrational match to it consistently. One more shuffle. Thank you. 3 of Wands, Justice. Justice is Libra. Again, the house of partnerships, relationships. So moving forward in respect to partnerships, judgment, we make the judgment call. High Priestess, learning our higher self. 3 of Pentacles, we're going to work on ourselves. So next time around, we show up in best form and we consistently remain in best form. Doesn't mean you have to be perfect. You're not going to have, perfect days from here on out. Life's going to hit you. You'll have bad days at work or arguments with this person. But the consistent vibration of you will be different. I feel like you're growing up. Please don't take offense to that. Tell me about that Queen of Swords. One more shuffle. Thank you. Queen of Swords, again, Ace of Cups, 6 of Pentacles, and Temperance. I like this. Walking away from how we used to be. World card at the bottom of the deck. I can't ignore that. So this was a really hard lesson. This person, professional, platonic, or romantic, is someone that we really cared about, or we had a lot of respect or a lot of esteem for. And when we lost that job, or we lost that relationship, or we lost that friendship, we should have looked at, what our role was. But sometimes we don't want to. Sometimes it's easier to blame circumstance or that person or other people were involved. But this seems to be a pretty significant soulmate here in your life. And again, I think for most of you, this person is returning in some form or fashion, because I have a match here, Emperor to the Empress. So I do think down the line, maybe you end up becoming really good friends with this person. Maybe the best friend returns. Maybe you end up collaborating with this company or boss again, or you reunite with this lover again. I don't know who this person is to you. I do think that they've been very significant teacher. I'm sure you taught them lessons too, but we're not looking into that today. We're looking into the lesson they were supposed to teach you. So this loss, again, insight, is to look at it and see where did I fall short? Because if I want the person to be an empress, I need to show up as an emperor. If I want the person to be an emperor, I need to show up as an empress. If I want this lover to be consistent and honest and truthful and loyal to me, guess what I have to be? Consistent, honest, truthful, and loyal to them. I can't go cheating on them. I can't be a broken emperor and expect this person to have faith and loyalty, or vice versa. I mean, again, I don't read body parts here, so maybe you're an empress. I can't expect the boss to keep me in high regard and give me raises and promotions. And meanwhile, I only show up to work twice a week. I take a 2-hour lunch when I'm supposed to take a 45-minute lunch. I smoke at my, at my desk when it's clearly in the HR manual, no smoking. So there's something like that here at play where we were not consistent. We showed up initially in best form, King of Wands, but then we got comfortable. And when we got comfortable, we became a Knight of Wands. We became inconsistent. And in some form or fashion, it was a detriment to this particular connection. And we have to own that. And if we want to revisit that connection or another one, then we need to show up as that King of Wands, but maintain that as well. If we don't do any of this, if you're sitting there, la, 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 wasn't my fault, they were an a-hole, bad boss, HR manual sucked, this person was a dirtbag. If you want to put it all on them, you can. I'm telling you, as someone who exited a 24-year marriage, there's a part of me that very well could say it was all that man's fault. But I have to be authentic and honest. It wasn't all his fault. I contributed in some ways, somehow, to that marriage failing. It takes two people to make a connection. It takes two people to break it. And this reading is asking you to review a recent connection that ended, or maybe several of them, and to be honest with yourself. Look at that common denominator, which is you. And what is that one theme or one role that you played in the breakdown of all of those connections? Were you inconsistent? You didn't take it seriously? You expected more from the other person than you were willing to give? Was there no reciprocity? Were you emotionally unavailable? Again, it's different for all of you, but we need to be honest with ourselves. Seven of Cups. If we don't do anything, I just feel like we return to how we were. We're going to manifest another connection. It'll show up, and for a little while, we'll be in our best form. And then when we get comfortable, we're going to slide right into the Knight of Wands, because we're not getting to the root cause about why we're showing up as the Knight of Wands. And why we show up as the Knight of Wands is different for all of you. But that needs to be looked at. Tell me about that Seven of Cups on the return. One more shuffle. Thank you. Knight of Pentacles, King of Swords, there you are. And the Nine of Pentacles, bottom of the deck, Two of Pentacles. When we have a contractual obligation to someone, a friend, a family member, a lover, a boss, right? We can't be all independent. We can't be married to someone and act like we're single. We can't have a obligation to this company and then act like a free agent and do whatever the hell we want and buck the system. Connections have rules, whether they are spoken or unspoken, whether they're documented or it's just something that's supposed to be, it's just inherent to that connection. And there's something here about learning this lesson. Otherwise, I feel like we end up in the same low vibration. Tell me about this Nine of Pentacles. One more shuffle here. Thank you. Nine of Pentacles, clarified by Nine of Cups, the Tower, and the Star. Bottom of that, King of Swords. You're showing up here a lot. It's the King of Swords, whether you're masculine or feminine. But that's what ends up happening. We go right back to how we were, wanting and desiring something, attaining it, not showing up in best form consistently, however that applies to you, to your situation, and then things fall apart again. And there we are, having to heal all over again, possibly even blaming the other person. So the reading is tended to get us to review how we show up in connection, to be honest with ourselves, where maybe we are a Knight of Wands in some form or fashion. And how can we heal that? So when Mercury goes direct on August 3rd, so if you don't know the dates, I'll tell you quickly. Mercury goes retrograde. Mercury goes retrograde on June 29th. It will be in retrograde until July 23rd. We are already in pre-shadow. We've been in pre-shadow since June 12th. And after July 23rd, we will be in post-shadow till August 3rd. So between now and August 3rd, whether something transpires here or not, I think this reading is enough for most of you if you're still watching at this point. Take the time to really look into this. Why you want one thing, but then when you finally attain it, you don't show up the same way. Or why are you afraid of commitment, or something like that. I think this is our time to heal this wound, to recognize the wound, to heal the wound. And so when, Mercury goes direct and comes out of post-shadow on August 4th, we wake up having a true understanding that when we want a particular type of connection, the onus is on us to show up in our best form consistently. So this is clearing the past pattern, if you will, healing it presently. Keep going forward. It's never easy to have to look at oneself. The Queen of Pentacles is looking at themselves in the Pentacle. She's looking at her reflection. And there's something here about looking at our reflection and being honest. And Mercury retrograde is the time to do that. So when we do come out on the other end, you know, on August 4th, we're a better, healthier version of ourselves. And look, if you want to be a Knight of Wands in whatever type of connection this is, you're more than welcome to be that. But you can't ask for an Emperor, Empress boss or company or romantic partner. It's a vibrational mismatch, because those types of energies are looking for their equals. So if you want to be a Knight of Wands, look for a Princess or Prince of Wands. I mean, you can certainly do that, but it's a little deceptive on our part to say we want that and then show up as that. Like, no wonder that person's probably upset or pissed off with us, because we presented ourselves this way. I'm strong, I'm solid, I'm steady. You could count on me. I'll be here every day, 8:30 to 4:30. And then, you know, second day on the job, you sleep till 10. There's just a need here to be honest with ourselves, first and foremost. Sorry, fix my top. Sorry. Let's get 3 cards here, please, for Aquarius. Okay, you want to show yourself? We'll take it. Step by step, breakthrough, silent strength. Bottom of the deck, flying. Step by step. Follow the natural pace and gradually achieve your goals. Step by step, be honest with yourself. Really go within and take the time to do this. Right? The snail is in no rush here. So I would take all of Mercury retrograde to have this honest introspection of yourself. Breakthrough, overcome obstacles and move beyond limitations, embracing new growth. It's okay to say, this is where I screwed up. I mean, that's how we grow. So I think this is, if you want to do this, want to be honest with yourselves, I think it's a phenomenal breakthrough moment here for the Aquarius collective. And then we have silent strength. Build your power in silence, waiting for the right moment to reveal your quiet strength. Again, it takes a lot of strength to look at oneself and be able to admit where maybe we went wrong or how we wronged someone, but that is the path to healing. And I don't think you need to announce it. I don't think you have to get to the top of the mountain and announce that you effed over this person. But the way you show up moving forward will silently show people who do know you, or maybe people you're reconciling with, that you have changed. You shouldn't have to tell someone that you've changed. They should be able to see it from your actions. Let's get you some Kipper cards, and then we'll look at the cards there at the bottom of the deck. 2 cards here for the anchor and the loop. The anchor, family, right? I'm looking for people I can bond with. They feel like family. I trust them. They trust me. The loop, poverty, and I don't show up that way. Can't make it up. And I don't show up that way. Insight and filter. Insight and filter. The insight, marriage. I'm telling you, this has to do with partnerships and contracts. So the insight is, I want an equal, but then when I get them, I don't really show up like they're equal. Expectation is the filter. There's something here about, again, moving forward. We're expecting this person to be an emperor or empress, but then they are expecting the same of us. And so the filter here is sort of seeing it through their lens, that we didn't show up in our best form. We certainly didn't hold ourselves to the same standards that we were holding them. The pivot and the return. The pivot and the return. The pivot, imprisonment. Seeing where our behavior has kept us stuck and freeing ourselves from that. And the return. In the reverse, adjudication in the reverse. Bottom of the deck, bad health, courtship, and message of concern. Some of you don't want to hear this, but the contract with that person isn't over. And again, maybe you just end up being great friends. Maybe it's the boss that, you still stay in touch with once in a while. If it's a romantic partner, this connection is not fully over. There is something here about continued conversations. Now, I don't know if you end up fully reconciling, but there is something here about continued conversations in regards to this courtship, in regards to this connection, where you went wrong, where they went wrong. It's possible for some of you, you may feel inclined to write this person a letter. This could be someone you haven't spoken to in 10 years. You might feel inclined now to write a letter and say, I know it's been 10 years, but now I can clearly see where I did A, B, and C. So some of you may want to write a letter to this person. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you the message that I received. Others of you may want to verbalize this to this person. 2 of Pentacles, 7 of Pentacles, 4 of Pentacles, 6 of Wands, and the Lovers. I feel like relationships will constantly be stuck, stagnant, not really grow, have a lot of promise in the beginning, but not go anywhere. until we realize our contribution to keeping them stuck and stagnant. So next time around, when we make the choice to engage with someone, lovers to the Six of Wands, we show up in best form because we want victory. Ten of Pentacles, we want long-term committed partnership, professional, platonic, or romantic. King of Swords, King of Pentacles, Page of Cups. Next time we receive an offer or give an offer to someone, we really show up in best form. King of Swords to the King of Pentacles. I'm serious, I'm authentic, and I'm investing at the same level, or I'm showing up in the same form as my counterpart. Justice. This is for all partnerships in our life, professional, platonic, or romantic. I don't think this was strictly a romantic reading, but that is what I have for you, Aquarius. It's quite the homework assignment, okay? And it's probably the most difficult one out of all of the zodiac signs that I've read for this time around. But there is an introspection here that is needed. Some of you will have reconciliation with this person, but whether or not it goes a distance is entirely based upon you doing the work here and you showing up differently, not just in the beginning, but consistently. And for those of you who are like, I don't want that person, okay, well, you have another soul contract then coming up. And if you show up the same way as you did last time, you'll have the same result. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome is the very definition of insanity. So if we keep showing up the same way and the relationships keep crashing and burning, like I had said earlier in the reading, it's time for us to pause and see how we are contributing to that and what our role is. This is a time to review, reflect and review, and heal. Ascend the mountain, clear the past, heal yourself in the present. So whether you're reconciling or moving forward with a new connection, you will show up as a better version of yourself. And the world will be better off for it. And so will you. That is what I have for you, Aquarius. That is your Mercury and retrograde reading. If you like those messages, they resonated with you, you want to claim all or part of them, please be sure to click like, share, comment, subscribe, hype the video if you're able to do that. Don't mother F me if you didn't like the reading, but if it triggered you, there might be something there for you to look at. Until I read for you again, I'm wishing you good luck, be gentle with yourself, and as always, I'm wishing you light, love, and peace.